Mabuhay! Kami nga pala ang representative ng aming bansang Pilipinas sa ASEAN Literary Contest.
Today, we're going to take a closer look at a literary piece from the Calabarzon region in our country. We're going to critique the story Macarius Noche Buena using the Marxist approach.
In line with that, we're also going to put our focus on our culture.
For those of you who still don't know what the story Macarius Noche Buena is about, this story is about a robber, Macario, who is waiting for someone to rob on a Christmas Eve. Waiting by the grove of bamboo trees, he finally saw someone approaching. It was a merchant who was carrying 2 baskets. Macario tried to get all the merchant's money, but all he had was 5 pesos. Since Macario didn't get that much, he proceeded to the baskets that were being carried by the merchant. There, he saw lots of groceries, but one particular thing caught his attention: a little drum. When he held that little drum, memories flashed through his mind and realization sank in him. Now that you know Macario's story, we want you to focus on these questions. What does this story want to say to the readers about the poverty that is fostering in the Philippines? Is the difference between wealthy and poor people evident in this story? And does the government have something to do with the continuous growth of the population who experience poverty?
Basically, the story depicts poverty. It shows how poverty affects people's way of living, especially here in the Philippines. We can see in the first part of the story that the main character, Macario, was a robber who was known as the fiercest among the highwaymen. The price was set on his head because of the crime that he has done. If we're going to analyze this part properly, we might be able to realize that all of the illegal things that he has done were the result of extreme indigency. Many individuals can't get sufficient money to live, especially for those people who are on the edge of poverty. It makes them take the necessary steps to have option to do illegal things just to support their own needs and necessities.
The difference between wealthy and poor people is truly evident here. In the first half of the story, it said that the merchants were heading to Manila or back to their towns while Macario was just waiting to take money from them. We can see in this scene that wealthy people are just carefree and jolly because they will able to come home for Christmas every year. On the other hand, poor people like Macario tend to take risks just to have something to eat for Christmas. It is also very sad that poor people do these things because of their eagerness to survive, but all they get in return is to be named.
Aside from that, we can also see that in Macarius Noche Buena that all people have their own story, including people on the fringe. They have reason why they are who they are today and why they become that type of person in the present. This story wanted to say that one of the factors that affect the present is the past, just like in Macarius' story. Realization started to sink in when memories of the past flashed through his mind. He realized that most of the things that he's doing was because of his design to take revenge. Of course, a part of it was because he wanted to have something that will help him survive, something to put his plate to celebrate Christmas. Wealthy people don't do this. They don't experience having the need to do something illegal just to have a life like everybody else.
Doesn't your heart hurt for the poor people who were arrested because of robbery and theft? It is true that what they're doing is wrong, but if we're going to analyze the cause of their actions, we will be able to see that it is because of poverty. They should never be the ones to blame for what is currently happening to them. Yes, they should be responsible for their actions, but that fact that they're living on fringes of society, should they also be the one responsible for that? Let's stop denying it. We all know that government should also be the ones to blame for what is currently happening to them. People like Macario in the story, who need help the most, should always be the first priority of our government. But instead of prioritizing them, the government just put themselves first.
Because of that, poor people can see themselves growing up and having a life like everybody else. The government deprives them from having a glimpse of the light that will guide them to have a better life. All they could see was darkness and never-ending agony. The government doesn't give that much attention to those people because they are less privileged. It is very sad to think that instead of helping the poverty-stricken ones climb up the ladder, they just get poorer each day.
Aside from the struggles and differences between social classes, we can also see the culture of the Philippines in this story. Just so you know, Filipinos value Christmas so much that they always prepare a feast to celebrate Christmas. Unlike wealthy people who exchange elegant gifts and light their Christmas trees to enjoy this season, poor people are already happy and content with just simple gifts and small celebrations.
Unlike wealthy people who enjoy the Christmas season every year, Christmas is just a sad season for the poverty-stricken ones. Poor people can't do anything but to sell lanterns, showcase their talents, and knock on people's doors just to ask for some donations. If you're a Filipino watching this, you all know that numerous theft and robbery always catch our attention, especially during Christmas seasons. Just like Macario, people do this just to have something to eat and put on their plates for Christmas. No matter what our social class is, we all value Christmas because that is our culture.
All in all, Macario's Noche Buena is about how poor people spend their lives during the Christmas season.
It depicts the differences between the social classes and how they strive to survive with their lives.
It is very evident here that wealthy and poor people have so many differences.
Aside from being more privileged than the poor, we can also see that wealthy people can have anything they want in just a blink of an eye. This contradicts the fact that poor people still need to do every possible thing just to survive.
It is odd to think that instead of prioritizing the growing population of the people who experience poverty, they're just being deprived to see the littlest streak of life that they could possibly look forward to.
But despite all their difference, we can all agree that Filipinos, wealthy and poor, value this season so much. We all value Christmas because that is the one of the most significant parts of our culture.
Once again, we are the representatives of our country, the Philippines, for the ASEAN Literary Contest. I'm Glary.
I'm Krista.
I'm Christian.
I am Nicole.
I'm Dos.
And I'm Alessandra. Thank you for watching.